The
I'm
M1
getting
chip
a
changed my life.
MacBook. I'm like, geez, bro, look at
Now
you,
I'm just
man.
better than everybody.
Like, look, are you flexing on
I'm
them?
better. I'm just better than
I'm better than
everyone
you.
now.
Hello and welcome to the Hustle Over Everything podcast. This is the podcast where we receive stories, tips, and tactics from entrepreneurs who have done it. Today, we have a wild card episode for you, and we are featuring our guest of the day, Simba. What's going on with you, bro?
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Man,
It's
like
been a long
Simba's,
time
bro.
coming.
Good to see you back in the chambers, man.
Most
Yes.
definitely. Simba is the CEO and founder of Volo Bespoke, and he's also the founder of Luxury News Weekly. And you can find them at those handles, Volo Bespoke and Luxury News Weekly. So make sure you tap in to get all your luxury news. So, yo, first things first is talk, bro. What do you think of the Jay-Z and Beyonce Tiffany deal? Talking about luxury news. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so you guys want to get in it.
Yeah, straight into it.
Okay. All right. So for context, for those who don't know, and I've actually spoken about this on Luxury News Weekly with my co-host Elizabeth Solaru, the
Shout out to her.
#1 cake maker and luxury consultant in the UK. And basically, Tiffany & Co. I think what we all know Tiffany & Co. At least the ladies watching this will know Tiffany & Co. Right? Very popular brand. When you say Tiffany & Co., you don't immediately come like Beyonce and Jay-Z don't come to mind immediately.
You think of legacy.
Think of legacy.
Yeah.
You think of a more. It's an American brand, but yet it has more of a European context to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so they decided to do this campaign because they got bought out by another company, a parent company, LVMH, and they started changing things around. One of the things they wanted to do is modernize the brand, make it more like in line with
It's for the
Thank you.
camera.
yeah, make it more in line with kind of the new culture, the TikTok wave, and they thought, well, connecting with Black culture is probably a good way to do that, right?
Yeah.
As well as street culture. So they did collabs with Supreme. All right, so then they decided to do Tiffany & Co. campaign with the legacy of Black culture, Jay-Z and Beyonce, King and Queen. So on surface level, it doesn't look bad. But here's the problem. They did a campaign, and in the campaign, Beyonce is wearing a diamond necklace. I think 128 carat, might be more actually. Huge yellow diamond necklace. And Jay-Z's kind of taking photos of her and that kind of thing. You think, okay, what's up with that?
Like a Polaroid type of camera.
Yeah. And then in the background, there's a painting. So here's a problem. That necklace that has only been worn by 4 women is actually a blood diamond.
And for those people who don't know, like, what is a blood diamond?
Okay, so a blood diamond is basically an unethical AF diamond. Like, this is like, it was probably brought by underpaid or slave labor, coercion, probably stolen from the country it was mined from, corruption, bribery. Now, this was found in South Africa. This diamond was found in South Africa, and the big company, De Beers, bought it, right? De Beers runs the diamond industry around the world, but they got it in the 1800s. So it was in 1800s in South Africa. What do you think the diamonds were? They were all blood diamonds,
Yeah.
especially for the large ones. So now she's the first Black woman to ever wear this necklace, and she's like the 4th woman. Lady Gaga wore it too.
Didn't Audrey Hepburn as well wear it as well?
I like back in the day.
Back in the day,
yeah,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
so. So yeah, and so she's wearing a blood diamond. She says she didn't know. She was trying to apologize for it. The irony is that they're trying to use a Black image, but it's a blood diamond. But I don't believe she didn't know.
So you think Beyonce actually knew it was a blood diamond?
I know for a fact Beyonce and Jay-Z own blood diamonds because the kind of like $100 million plus diamonds are all blood diamonds. They're not new. It's only the lower level where they're more ethical. But any diamond with prestige is pretty well most likely to be a blood diamond. if it's like got a heritage to it. This is from the 1800s, like, of course. But yeah, so that's one of the things. But what do you think about that? Just because there's more, but you know,
there's more, right? So I know this campaign has become an issue, but who realized it was an issue, and like what really made it a spark? Is it the fact that people who are fans of Tiffany and Co. were feeling alienated because now they're seeing LVMH turn Tiffany and Co. into this brand that's trying to connect to hip culture, mixed in with the fact that they're using a blood diamond on Beyonce, and Beyonce is like a black woman and she's promoting that? I just want to understand like what really spurred this after the campaign was like launched out to the public.
I think it's because it came out when the Black Lives Matter thing was hot, and people had time to research stuff.
People at home just chilling,
fishing,
like they're looking for something to get cheesed about.
Fishing, exactly. They're fishing for information, and when you're looking, you'll find it. Now, they also not only were they kind of feeling like this is a bit disingenuous, you're kind of trying to steal the black image for your campaign. So people were so about that, right? But then the blood diamond thing, and then on top of that, the art community as a whole was super mad because they were super upset because in the campaign, there was a rare Basquiat painting. And the painting had never been publicly seen before. It was in the Tiffany colors. The painting had never been publicly seen before. And the first time it's on display is in an advertisement using black artists to promote a brand. Right?
Yeah.
The number one top black artist, Basquiat, is now in his grave being used as kind of a clout symbol, if that makes sense, and a flex on behalf of Tiffany and Co.
But Simba, don't you think as well to understanding who Jay-Z is and the way he's transformed his music? He used to sing about, selling dope and everything, and he's turned his music into a new category, luxury rap. And Basquiat is like one of those individuals he's a big admirer of. He always sings about Basquiat, this, Basquiat, that. Do you think it was Jay-Z pushing that to add like that flair because he heavily associates himself with Basquiat? Or was it LVMH saying add a Basquiat because you sing about Basquiat, it's going to be connected with like the who culture, because Basquiat's like a cool guy.
He's a cool
cool artist.
Guy. He's a cool artist. He's like really connected with street culture like Cos is, or like, yeah, you get these street artists, but Basquiat kind of was an elevated street artist, right? Yeah. Like he started kind of doing these murals and whatnot, and then he's now he passed. By the time he passed away, he studied under Andy Warhol, and he became a fine artist, right? And now he's respected in all the art circles, in the serious collectors circles, as well as culture, as well as the street culture, hip-hop culture, and quite frankly now pop culture, right? But Jay-Z wouldn't have known they owned this painting. It's not his.
Well, Tiffany owns it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
They had it in private collection. Okay. Now, of course, Jay-Z could have found out because he hangs out with the people, but it's like, I feel like they are like, hey, we've got this painting we've been wanting to use. This would be great. Black this, black that. Yeah. So.
All right. So I have a few things to push back on. One is, would it have changed if it was a white woman modeling? Like, would there have been such pushback if it was another Lady Gaga campaign?
Or let's say if it was Scarlett Johansson. Like, she's always in a lot of luxury ads. Perfect. She was in Dolce & Gabbana, right?
Who also have a ton of problems.
Yeah, as well too. Like if you look at Scarlett Johansson, she fits like the model of what a beauty standard is. She's white, she's attractive, she has blonde hair, blue eyes, paler skin, which has been predominantly used in a lot of like advertising for luxury ads. Do you think it was the fact that it was Beyonce and Jay-Z and they were just them too? Like what's your take on that?
I think, the thing is, what was the intent of Tiffany and Co? They were trying to revive or rebrand, right? So of course you're going to go to prominent people. Tiffany and Co, because LVMH bought them. LVMH, for those who don't know, they own Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy. They bought Armandi Brignac, aka Ace of Spades. They own, I think, Celine. They own shares in Hermes. If they don't own it outright, they have shares in it. They own almost every major luxury company in the world. And with that, Dior, and with that, they have power over every celebrity in the world, basically. Right? So they flex sometimes, which I have no problem with. With this particular campaign, though, they seem to be really pushing the idea of it was a love campaign. They were trying to push the idea of, subtly push the idea of ethnic love, and sophistication and all that. But it seemed it was a bit of the pandering, a bit of the pulling from the culture that they didn't contribute to. And then immediately after that, they do a Supreme campaign. People are like, now who are you servicing? Yeah. Now they're like, well, who's your customer now? Supreme is predominantly young men, right? Tiffany & Co. has been trying to get men to buy Tiffany & Co. like for themselves. I don't think much success. So Supreme collab, right?
But that seems like such a, like the two brand, like the identity of Supreme and Tiffany are the worst. Like I will never see Supreme trying to collab with a brand like Tiffany. I might see, I'll see Louis Vuitton, but Tiffany & Co.
Why not?
Exactly what I said.
Why, Alex? You're asking why?
Yeah, why not?
Because the brand ethos are not even related.
Related
So
at
how
all.
is Louis Vuitton related to Supreme?
Louis Vuitton serves young men. Louis Vuitton serves hype. Louis Vuitton had Virgil Abloh as the creative director of menswear. They're in it, And LVMH bought Off-White because they wanted Virgil, before his untimely passing, to head the creative direction for most of their brands. New brands, old brands, turn brands around. I wouldn't even be surprised if Virgil was kind of facilitating these campaigns. He was getting that's another story I won't get into right now, but he was getting the big seat, the boardroom seat.
Having a seat at the table, as I like to say.
Not even just like this guy was going to control the creative direction of LVMH, which means he would control the future of the luxury industry in the world. Period. Doesn't get higher than that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for someone like Virgil to come in, especially as a black guy, to come in and control that, like we also got to give credit for guys like Kanye, who paved the way for guys like Virgil to come in those type of spaces and not only have a shop, but be able to like be given the keys to the kingdom and actually build something out for infusing that culture and making it like dope to buy luxury again.
And in an authentic way.
They
didn't make cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Virgil made some cheap stuff. Okay. But he fixed it in the end. It's okay. He fixed it in the end. But the point is, they studied. Like, they went and they studied under the greats. Didn't Virgil and
Kanye.
Yeah, they went to Paris, I think, or Paris or Italy. Studied under one of the great brands. Learned as much as they could. So they were not by any means amateurs. They were not even just like enthusiasts. They were professionals in the craft of streetwear. And also luxury wear. They also first and foremost customers, right? Yeah. So yeah, like they knew what they were doing. The problem is Kanye's a little unstable, but Virgil Abloh, and y'all who are watching this, you might disagree. I don't care. I didn't like Virgil's designs. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't a big fan for most of his career. I wasn't
either. I was just kind of like, would I really rock this? It's very it's different. It looked cool. It's different, but when I wear it, it wasn't really my style. But I respected what he was trying to do. That was the thing. It's just like that looks hype. I can see people buying that, but maybe I just wasn't the customer archetype for what he was trying to like sell to us.
Maybe, but also I feel like it got gimmicky. But I will say this though, towards the end of his career, he stepped it up significantly. He came out with a lot of fire stuff, but most of all, forget that, because there's many great designers that'll never see the light of day. He was, if you say what was his superpower, he had the highest creative output in the game. The only person that can compete on creative output to him was Karl Lagerfeld. And if he didn't pass away so early, he would have probably outpaced Karl Lagerfeld. Karl Lagerfeld, he ran Chanel, and he ran, what else did he run? And he was doing like 3 big brands at one time.
Yeah.
He's the only person to do this. And he was doing it as an old man. And he had been doing it. He was the oldest creative director, like longest running creative director. No one has put out more work than Karl.
But who's that one?
Until Virgil.
Who's that one woman? You know who I'm talking about? Like, she's always wearing shades.
Anna Wintour?
Oh, Anna Wintour,
Isn't she up there with Karl?
No. She's a director. She was the director of Vogue. Like, she's in Vogue.
She's Vogue.
Yeah, she's
Gosh,
Vogue. She's Vogue.
You.
And
She's so
actually,
associated with luxury. You think like she's involved with the brands.
no,
like
but
that.
she made or broke them. You know, like a lot of these brands, Vogue. You have to get the kiss the ring. If Vogue said this is happening, this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Kors, Vogue had to okay that. What's the Steve Madden? Vogue had to okay that. You know, like a bunch of these brands, they go through Vogue first.
Gotcha.
Well, they used to.
Yeah,
you know?
Vogue is a stamp of approval. I think I just Googled it. Kanye interned at Fendi. It was Fendi that both
Yes.
him and Virgil worked
And Karl Lagerfeld, creative director for Fendi.
oh yeah, he was?
Fendi,
Dang.
Chanel, and Karl Lagerfeld.
That's crazy. So let's talk about Kanye's luxury foray. You know what I'm saying? What
Let's
do you think
talk about
about
it.
Let's talk
what do you
about
think
it.
Let's talk about it.
What do you think about Kanye's, billion-dollar company Yeezy? Do you think that he'll last long at Gap, at his Yeezy Adidas line? What's your opinions on his whole concept?
His whole umbrella.
Yeah.
What do you think about him doing like a quasi luxury? I like to call it like a premium thing for Gap, for like the affordable market. Do you think that juxtaposes luxury for what it is?
Because Kanye's hype, he's luxury and hype. He's a little bit of both, so it's hard. Okay, just because something's expensive does not mean it's luxury. Technically, Gucci does not qualify as a luxury company for a number of reasons. It's too, like, you can't be mass market and luxury, defeats the purpose. But now what we quantify as luxury is changing. But luxury, what's part of luxury? If we just take two, maybe 3 pillars, all right, and they have to meet all 3. It has to be expensive for what it is, not just expensive in general, right? It has to be expensive for what it is. It has to be exclusive, right? And it has to be like, it has to have a soul. So usually man-made. So it's not the most perfect object. That's kind of the point, right? Like a Ferrari is a bumpy ride. If you want a smooth ride, you're not going to drive, but you feel the road, and that gives you the feeling that they're selling you. That's the power of the engine, the power of the car, the power of the speed. So that imperfection is part of the perfect experience, right?
Do you also think time plays a factor in luxury? Because a lot of these brands, they become their heritage brands, right? And that's why we appreciate, this is like a 1960 Louis Vuitton type of thing. And
vintage.
they never change their styles that much. Like the look of it stays the same. It creates like this iconic feel behind it.
That's how they say. It's like cheap brands get old, right? Cheap products get old. Premium product gets aged. Luxury products turn vintage. They get more expensive over time. That's actually another way to see if a product is luxury. How well it keeps its value over time. Gucci's not that strong. Gucci's not that strong. Vintage Gucci.
But then,
that stuff will sell for more than you bought it for.
all right. So at what point does it not become strong?
Well, Gucci and Louis Vuitton kind of is more luxury, but it's still like they kind of lack, like they're slowly declining in as far as luxury, especially among true luxury buyers, because they're not exclusive anymore. You can go into any Gucci store and get most Gucci products. You can go in any Louis Vuitton store and get most Louis Vuitton products, right? So again, you got rid of exclusivity. That's one of the key pillars. And then price, sure. Right? But premium products are expensive too. So it's not a really good comparison. And then last but not least, like we said, is it a plebeian good? Like, is it gonna, So when they are hiking prices on Gucci and LV, do people buy more? So. When they do it on Hermes, when they do it on Chanel, 30% increase in price, 50% increase in sales.
I feel like they're playing in two different ballparks. Like I feel like Hermes, they really want to like have strict exclusivity because they can't even buy it unless you like buy a used one, right? And they have to continuously go there and buy other things, and then they allow you to buy a bag, right? You have to get approved.
That's the pillar. That's luxury. That's luxury right there. But we're just the brand of luxury. But it's going back to Kanye, okay?
Yeah.
Kanye knows how to sell. You can follow the luxury methods for non-luxury goods. Apple does this.
Okay.
Apple is by no means exclusive. Mm-hmm. Almost everyone has an iPhone.
Correct.
But we feel like we feel exclusive.
Like so when you whip out that MacBook in class,
bro, I got the MacBook Air M1 chip.
Bro, it took you a minute to get a MacBook.
I got it all at the same time. I got the iPhone.
You're all about Microsoft. Oh, Android. I love the Android. It's so whatever. Then I see, hey, bro, I think I'm getting the iPhone.
The M1
I'm getting
chip
a MacBook. I'm like, geez, bro, look at
now
you,
I'm just
man.
better than everybody.
Like, look at you flexing.
I'm better. I'm just better than
I'm better
everyone
than you.
now.
You whip out that MacBook in class, you're like, ah. Bro, I remember in first year of school, bro, I used to feel like such an outsider. Like I walk in class, you know when you walk in Ted Rogers, the main entrance, and you see everyone's MacBooks, just like, I mean, you see everyone's computer.
Everyone, business
bro,
students,
Apple, bro. I'm like, wow. Like I'm so wasted with this little Windows Lenovo computer. But that's how they do, man. They infuse your mind to believe, like, if you're not a part of this Apple club, you don't belong. If you don't have a blue text bubble.
Yep. They make ways of you just like hating non-Apple people. But again, luxury tactic, not a luxury company. It's a premium company. But iPhones and Samsungs are the same price now, right? So, okay, so what are they doing? Go back to Kanye. Kanye can make luxury, but he can also take luxury tactics and apply them to premium or sub-premium brands. That's why Gap paid however many billions or what have you to have him there for 10 years. To take a premium product and turn it into a luxury luxury-like brand. Turn it around. Can he do it? Absolutely he can do it. He's done it 1,000 times. And he doesn't have to manage the financials. He doesn't have to manage this and that and the other. He's just managing the brand portion, which he's good at. He's not a good operator. And everyone knows that. But he's a great visionary and he's a good creative director. So that's what he's doing. Now, what he did with Gap too, Balenciaga, Gap, and him are collabing. So it's not just him. He's bringing all these other cool brands. Balenciaga, I hate the brand and I love the brand at the same time. Well, okay, let's put it this way. My qualms are with the creative director of Balenciaga, Denma. I don't like him, but I like his work. But I do like the brand Balenciaga, and we'll see how it goes. But anyways, what's funny about the whole Balenciaga Kanye thing is that Kanye and Kim pushed Balenciaga so high that they outpaced every single luxury brand last year for number one most mentioned brand. And now that Kanye and Kim are getting divorced, Kim and his new girlfriend are still doing the low-key Balenciaga campaigns. But then Kim is doing the low-key Balenciaga campaign. Now, she's the face of Balenciaga now. But Kanye was the guy.
Damn.
Used him for the whole Yeezus. What was Donda tour? He was all Balenciaga head to toe.
Wow.
Pushed the sales up single-handedly. Sold them out. And now Kim is the face as of this month.
There was like this story going on around about like do you hear that story about Kim asking permission to Kanye to like you know your story I'm talking about
to wear the bootleg?
Is it the bootleg?
The bootleg Yeezys for a brand that was going to pay a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I kind of heard about the story.
Yeah. Alex,
she turned it down or something.
She turned it down or something. Do you know all the details about it? I kind of saw it on like TikTok. I was like, oh, like Kanye did this, and then Kim called Kanye to ask for permission to not do it, and then Kanye's just like, yo, that's why I'm gonna give you an equity stake into Yeezy. And I'm like, damn, you're giving her and then they divorced now, so she still has equity.
Yeah.
Well,
that's kind of messed up, man. You know, because the brand equity of Yeezy
is crazy.
And you're giving an estranged wife an equity stake into that when, you know, at the present value of what she could have gotten from that fake campaign is like minimal to what she's gonna get from Yeezy from a future value perspective.
But at the same time, Yeezy, the reason why I think it falls into more of that luxury feel is it is quite exclusive, Yeezy. So I remember watching, I think the CEO of Adidas, or at least a top executive, I think it was the CEO, talking about Yeezy. And this guy was like, Yeezy is kind of like an insignificant amount of money to the company. It's more of a brand. Yeah, it's nothing because they don't sell enough to ever make it worth much. But it drives the brand. It drives Adidas. It drives the hype. But from a financial standpoint, it's pennies.
Yeah.
It's a boss leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know how there's a loss leader that drives people in this like the small part, and then you make big amounts of money on the back end. It's like the opposite with Yeezy, where it's like it's a boss leader where it doesn't make as much money for the company, but because of the brand of alignment, people will associate that and then eventually increase the brand. Do you think that's been the biggest blunder of Nike?
Yeah.
Letting Kanye get away?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what's funny? It's like with Jordans, right? Michael was going to go with Adidas, I think. Or was it Adidas or Converse?
It was
Adidas.
It's Adidas.
It was, right? Yeah, that was his favorite brand. That's the brand he actually wanted to work with.
Yeah.
He didn't even want to work with Nike.
Yeah.
But they kept him. And I guess they didn't want to deal with Kanye. I think that's what it really just came down to.
Just deal with him. That's the reason.
But does Nike have to deal with anybody?
No.
All the world's most expensive sneakers are Nikes. Take that in.
All the world's most expensive sneakers?
All the world's most expensive sneakers are Nikes. All the world's most successful shoe lines are Nikes.
Are you talking about like in the secondary market or in the first market?
In the first market. And also the secondary. If you think, also the secondary.
But then are you counting luxury shoes in that list?
Sneakers, I'm saying.
Yeah,
But even if you take luxury shoes, the top luxury shoes are Nikes too. There's only like one shoe with diamonds, and like there's like artifact shoes. But Jordans just sold on auction last year, around $1.5 million on auction.
In the secondary market.
Yeah.
But in the first market, as in like at retail, there's all types of shoes that's more expensive than Nikes. Jordan.
But they hold the record, like in the sneaker world.
Yeah.
The most expensive Nikes are still the most expensive shoes, but they're more expensive. Like say Louboutins, right? You can get Louboutin sneakers.
Yeah, if I get that a grand.
Yeah, grand. Yeah, but they are common, you know. But then go to the most expensive, and the list is all gonna be Nike. Especially if you say what holds the record on the secondary, for sure it's Nike.
For sure, yeah.
On the first hand, there's probably more contenders, but Nike also has shoes that they just don't sell. They just make the one-offs, the prototypes of this, of that, and then they'll sell those. And then those are the most expensive.
Gosh, the prototypes, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about like at the retail
No, not in the
level.
store. Like,
The retail level, that's like $3 at tops. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're speaking about luxury and the brands, right? There's like one brand we spoke about a while back. I think we did a Black Friday episode, and Armani Exchange is like a brand that used to be luxury, used to be a premium. Well, I don't even say premium, but it was seen as a luxury brand. And then as the years progressed, they broke off into Armani Exchange, Armani Emporo, or something like that.
Yeah.
What's your take on brands such as Armani, like going downhill and becoming more of like a brand like Guess? Because that's what they look like now.
Yes. Check Hugo Boss for this too now.
Oh yeah, Hugo Boss.
Hugo Boss, yeah.
That's the now. You want to see this shit happen in real time?
Mm-hmm.
Hugo Boss, this is exactly what's happening. Okay, so Armani was hands down luxury menswear and all this, right? Even still, if you get Armani suits, they are very expensive. Very, very expensive and very good suits. But then they made Armani Exchange to kind of, lower the price. And still okay for a while. But the problem is now they started licensing Armani Exchange. So they don't make it anymore. Other brands make it for them and sell it for them. And that's when you see the decline. You see that with Michael Kors when they start licensing. And you know who almost went bankrupt from licensing? Ralph Lauren. You can find Polo in Marshalls. You think the polo in Marshalls is the same polo you get at the Bay? It's not the same thing at all.
The horse looks different.
It's not even the same quality level. They just licensed the brand, and Ralph Lauren almost went bankrupt licensing polo, and they went out of hand, and the price went down. They flooded the market. You started seeing it at discount stores. Sales went down, and the margins got too thin. They had to liquidate. Almost lost the entire company. And all these brands do that because they're driven by profit after a while, after they hit a certain like size. And then they have to. So that's what's happening. Hugo Boss now, that's already kind of like what happened.
Yeah.
Now they're trying to pivot into a TikTok company. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
What do you mean by TikTok company?
They're trying to be like leisure wear, like athleisure, and use TikTok stars to push the brand, make it cool again.
Yeah, the number one TikToker right now, Khaby's his name.
They hired him as the face of Hugo Boss.
I saw that.
And then a bunch of rappers too. You know what their campaign is? Be your own boss. I like the campaign, but what the hell? Like, what?
I don't know if that makes.
Yeah. When I grew up, okay, how was Hugo Boss when you grew up?
Hugo Boss was like the suit brand, you know what I'm saying?
Just like Prada and Hugo Boss for men. Yeah. Prada and Hugo, and then Tom Ford came in there.
Bro, it made you want to wear a suit like every day, everywhere you go. You know, like I was already aspiring of the type of man I want to be because of seeing Hugo Boss and like GQ.
Yes.
What's
back when GQ
Esquire.
Was
GQ, bruv. You know what I'm saying? But now I walk past the Eaton Center, I'm like, Rod, like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't have the same pizzazz anymore. You know what I mean?
That was just hoodies and stuff. Like,
who wants to rock that, bro?
We can get better hoodies from actual brands that make good hood. Like, we can get essentials wear.
So here's the thing, though. Like, we're in a different time right now where men are not wearing suits like that.
They aren't.
So it's like, what option do they have? It's like, all right, am I going to continue to wear suits where we would be the actual avatar for a Hugo Boss guy?
Yeah, you know but at least wear drip. Like, at least get drippy. I'm not in a suit, but I'm drippy.
Gosh,
y'all are hustling over here. This drip.
This is drip, bro.
Why are they coming out with
leisure drip,
Boss on a blank? I can make that today. That's your grand comeback? Really? Nationwide?
Yeah.
Copying essentials?
Yeah, this whole athleisure line athleisure wear market has really taken off, but it's really becoming saturated now.
Where's the drip, Hugo? You can afford to pay all these celebs. Pay a decent creative director. Why don't you?
Yeah. You know what's funny, man? I was on LinkedIn and Khaby, that bloke, right, who doesn't say much, was some lady shared it. Hey, like, look at Khaby. He started with nothing. He was a factory worker in Italy.
Yes.
And, you know, he just started making TikTok videos and now he's on. And the amount of hate this guy was receiving because he doesn't do much other than, you know, pouch his lips in a certain way and then just like look like that. They're like, yo, this guy doesn't even have any talent at all. But they don't understand. It takes talent.
Yes.
That is talent. Like,
your content creating, his output is like what? It's crazy.
It's crazy. So for him to get hate, man, I just want to hear your take on this guy. Like, as you becoming more of a content creator, what are your thoughts on him? You know, his meteoric rise and working with Hugo Boss and him, like his taste in
he's
creating.
Either a genius or he lucked out, and I'll tell you why.
Perfect timing type of thing.
Who's his equivalent in like culture? It not like think about entertainment. Who is his equivalent if you look back in time? I'll tell you who. Charlie Chapman. Then Mr. Bean.
Yep. He's the modern Mr. Bean.
When you don't talk, you're international. I look at his comments and they're in so many different languages. Everyone's smiling. You see the smiles, laugh, and then it's in Arabic, it's in Korean, it's in Mandarin. Japanese. People are commenting Japanese because everyone gets it. It's genius. That's why he blew up, because when you're not talking, it's the same reason why Spider-Man, like Stan Lee said, the reason why Spider-Man is so popular, I think, is by mistake. But he's one of the only superheroes with a full suit that doesn't show his skin. So any kid can see themselves in that character. That's why it's successful. And I think with Khaby, because he's like not talking, because he's not talking, anyone can relate. It's just gestures.
It's nuanced, right? Like you watch something stupid and you just react. You're like, yeah, of course I'd react like that so I can relate to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for him doing the Hugo Boss thing. It suits him well.
Yeah.
I don't think the campaign suits Hugo Boss well, but I think what they're doing fits him very well, and I think he'll be good for it. And they'll sell that stuff, and young people will buy it and that kind of thing.
To be honest, too, it feels like somebody giving Soulja Boy a bag when he was hot instead of giving Kanye a bag when he was hot. Like, he's not a fashion influencer at all, in no regard at all. So,
but he pushed Bapes. He made that ish big. He pushed Sidekick phones. He pushed Baggy. Like, we dressed like him, but it wasn't just to Lost. Like, he wasn't that guy.
Exactly. So what I think Hugo Boss did that was wrong is they look at the biggest popular person and not the best influencer for fashion. I think that's the big caveat, because I don't think anybody's looking to him to find style. They're looking to him for comedy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the real deal who should have sponsored him and like put all the money on him, someone like Comedy Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a fitting.
That's a good collab. Yeah. I can see that being more seamless.
It's actually something that aligns with what he actually does. Who goes to him to look for fashion, to look for style?
He has the worst fashion and style and stuff. Like,
so
a lot of the time, like, use lotion, my man. I know you're in Italy, it might be hard to find, but like, come on,
put on some chapstick, bro.
Some lotion. You're
all the stretching of the lips, bro. You gotta like be moisturized, man.
Voluptuous. Luscious.
That's the money maker.
Should be sponsored by Lush or something. By Burt's Bees or something.
Word. Yo, you know what I was thinking the other day? There's no men's lip balm brand.
Not real Nivea for men, I guess.
Kiehl's
for men,
but it's not. Yeah, there's nothing.
It's a grooming brand, though.
There's no bevel for men's lip balm.
There's no like MAC. There's no like not Sephora, but the Sephora brands for men. There's nothing like that.
You know what I saw the other day that actually had me dying, bro? They're doing what do you call it? Like makeup for men now.
Yeah,
like this.
We should be using makeup right now,
man.
We're on camera.
I'm not a makeup.
Keep the shine down.
Listen, man.
Keep the glare down from the lights.
Cover the acne.
Lights,
nah, bro. Listen, if I got acne, I got acne, and that's really it. Y'all gonna deal with y'all gonna see the pimples.
You see the natural, the all natural.
I think this is like the as they say, toxic masculinity, right? Like, you don't want to wear makeup.
In show business, they all wear makeup, but they just don't get maked up. Like, they just put stuff to stop the shine. That's it.
Got you. So
because the lights are so bright, it makes you sweat.
Word. So I've done that before. I've been in a commercial and I've actually worn like a little bit of makeup. That's fine, But I'm saying as an everyday thing.
Man.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to sell. There's an actual brand.
But why would you want to? Like, man, we get away with not doing it. Why are you just adding more responsibilities?
Bro? You just shower, deodorant, cologne, boom.
How long did it take to convince women to accept us the way we are? Now you want to change that?
Change us up.
We should have
actually don't give them ideas, man.
I think it should be like more like exfoliants, more things to actually have better skincare. I think men's skincare is something that's slept on. And I think Pharrell has a skincare line, but I don't think
that guy hasn't aged in years.
Yeah,
I think he's cracking now, though.
Yeah,
he had a good run. He had a good run.
Starting to sound a little bit.
But do you have skincare routines?
No, I just have a face wash. I use it sporadically, maybe like once every 3 days.
Okay.
See, I have a whole skincare routine.
Okay, walk us through it.
So I shower and I use Cetaphil, and I use hot water before to open up my pores.
Yeah.
Then
are you doing this in the shower or like on the sink?
It's a whole routine. So I start at the shower and I finish
on the Cetaphil.
On the sink.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
In the shower, hot water to open up my pores. Then I use Cetaphil. Then I use cold water to close the pores. Then I use shea butter.
It's the proper way.
Yeah, whip shea butter, like whip shea butter.
Yeah,
I have the shea butter, bro. It looks.
Is it like the thick one?
Do you infuse it with oils, essential oils, and that kind of?
I used to, but I don't do it anymore. So then I use shea butter and then coconut oil to like seal all the moisture from the shea butter to have like my skin. You know what I'm saying? That's my routine.
That's good.
You know?
Yeah, my skin's too oily for that, so I use a mild face wash, and then that's basically it. And I'll exfoliate my face once a week, maybe. with a scrub,
Where
a natural scrub, and then that gets rid of all the dead skin, all the bumps, breakouts, whatever, right? And then for my beard is where I take the most care of.
yeah, the beard.
Actually, shout out to Ethos Beard brand. Okay, that's all I use. Black owned, Toronto man's, amazing product, best smelling.
It's like straight mandem, like
straight, and
Yo,
it's the
send me
best
something.
smelling beard product. Personally, I don't like the tea tree smell.
Yeah,
I
nah,
smell
I
like
hate
I
that.
came out of a seance or something.
Word.
Yeah, I don't like that earthy smell. No. So yeah, they're great. I use the shampoo, and then when I get out, my hair's all soft. Immediately hit it with the I don't know which one I'm supposed to use and what order. I always have to ask my sister to remind me. She knows about this stuff, but I'll use either the balm first and then let that soak and then hit it with the oil to seal, or the other way around. Sometimes just the oil to go, and then it's soft, shiny, luscious.
yeah, man, your beard is looking proper, bro.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always been on point though.
Thank you. But it started looking better when I was taking care of it because I was getting like, you have
Yeah.
to condition and stuff, right?
See,
It
so
gets
a man like me, like even Alex, you know, I always tease him a lot. He has like an ice cream scoop in his beard, right? Like it says like, "Phew," like just like a little, you know, when the ice cream,
Facts.
that little half
You know what I'm
circle.
saying? It's like a little sickle.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then I have like little like spots right here I'm trying to grow in, and mine I call it like it's kind of like a geometry, kind of like, you know, like that. It's not obtuse angle, but it's like, you know, like the ruler. It's like a rectangle.
Yeah.
And it kind of sits like that.
Like
and
the
then-
right angle.
Exactly,
kind of,
right. It just comes sharp down, right?
Oh,
There's
yeah.
there's no elevation or anything. Like,
Right.
so man, yeah, man, like you're blessed with a luscious
Now I
beard,
got a
bro.
full beard. But you know what? It's speaking of luxury things, like there's
Yes.
a lot of surgeries you can get in the luxury world. Because mind you, there's also like the enhancement phase. Like they say, you're not ugly, you're poor. Right? So you see all these celebrities, they have no hair, bad teeth, this and that, right? And then all of a sudden they get money and then they got a full head of hair, perfect teeth, full beard, muscular, healthy. Where'd that come from?
Yeah,
Right?
it's the bread.
They just paid for it, basically. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of people do implants, transplants, this and that, the other,
Wow.
for their beard. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into watches because you've created a
get
lot
into
of
it.
great content about watches, specifically how watches work with quartz watches, mechanical watches. You know, serving a business audience is one thing that we do, and personally, I just got my first watch ever this year. It was a Fossil watch, actually.
Great start.
Right, great start.
Great start.
Very, very rookie phase of my watch. I want to move
Yes,
up to
everyone should start with the Fossil. I
Fossil. It's a classic man's watch. Has the brown strap and everything like that. So I want you to give us some knowledge of like watches, more of like how they work, some things that we don't know about. So our, you know, the young men who listen to our podcast can what to look for. You know, just give us the basics, the rundown, Sims. You know, you're the expert here.
did. Right. Okay, so this is going to make for a great segment, great clip. All right. If you are a young, ambitious man, your ticket into the boardroom, getting that invite to the dinner party, talking to that high ticket client
Yeah,
is going to be luxury talk.
luxury talk.
Luxury. What else do you have? Are you going to, it's going to take you at least 5 years to get good at whatever you're doing. So that's not
Become
gonna
an
work.
expert. at
Yeah.
least. Yeah.
It's you know, there's just not much you can do then other than just talk to the person about stuff that they know about but might not know a lot about, and then kind of educate them
Gotcha.
a bit, but in a non, you know, like salacious way. Like, so for instance, watches is a great start because every successful man is pressured into appreciating watches, but almost all of them know nothing about watches. They just know Rolex. Like if I ask you, what is the holy trinity of watches? There's a holy trinity of watches. What three brands make the holy trinity?
Audemars,
Okay.
Piaget,
Audemars Piguet.
Audemars Piguet,
Is, yeah, AP.
Rolex.
Okay.
What's this?
One more? Alex, what do you think?
I don't know. I was gonna say Breitling, but I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, so well, you're all wrong. You got it right with Audemars Piguet. So Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe,
Patek Philippe, yeah.
and Vacheron Constantin.
Oh yeah, I heard of that one too.
Now, most people don't know Vacheron Constantin, but those are the grandfather of watch. That they set the standard for high horology. Okay, that is it. Everyone is trickled down from there. All right, all your Rolexes, your Breitlings, all this, they're down here, and those guys are up there. Now, the independent watchmakers that, they'll make like Philippe Dufour, but they will end up getting hired by, Audemars Piguet to make like a crazy timepiece, and it'll take 10 years to make, and then Audemars will slap their name on it, and they won't really give the person credit. yeah. But that's another thing. But anyways.
So, question: where do Zeniths fall in with the whole?
Zenith will be the entry level, right? Like, okay, so I'm wearing right now, you can't see, but I'm wearing a Cartier.
Okay.
Now, funny enough.
Cartier.
Yeah. This is a Cartier Santos, right? They make a different amount of, different kinds of Santos. This is a quartz movement, Santos, but Cartier worked with their supplier for quartz to make it where you don't have to change the battery for as long as you would have to service an automatic watch. So it's basically not bad, and it doesn't have a second hand, so you don't need an automatic if you don't even have a second hand. Like, what's the point if you're not gonna see it go like swoosh,
Yeah.
But anyways, this is the first mass produced. It's the first wristwatch ever to be put into mass production.
The Cartier watch?
Cartier did it first. Yes, people don't know that about it, but Cartier has been making solid watches forever, right? But still, this is now a serious watch, even though it's quartz. So don't get it confused. Just because it's not automatic doesn't mean it's not a serious watch.
Interesting.
But a Zenith or something like that would be down there with maybe a Seiko.
Really?
Yeah. Seiko is like a good bang for buck. Fossil is now complete entry level, right?
Fossil.
Jeez. Yeah. Because we're talking max 400 for their mechanical movements. So Fossil is like a brand. It's just got that nice feel. Everyone knows it. People respect it. Yep. But it's not...
Aesthetics are nice.
Yeah, but in the world of watchmakers, is it respected? No. It's kind of like no one would look down at you for wearing a Fossil, but they're not going to be like, oh my God, you're wearing a Fossil. You know what I mean?
Facts.
If you're wearing a Seiko, they'll be like, okay, you know what you're doing. There's room to grow, and that's a great starting watch.
When you compare Fossil and Seiko, do they categorize Seiko more superior than Fossil?
100%.
Why? But Seiko's you can get like a Seiko watch anywhere. Well, like, what's so good about it?
They just, again, it's bang for buck, but also it's associated a lot with Grand Seiko. And Grand Seiko is kind of like Lexus to Toyota. Grand Seiko is like one of the best watches you can get for the price. They make quality dials, which is like the face of the watch is, it's the dial. They make quality dials. They're beautiful. They work great. They create all kinds of new technologies, and watch collectors love them. They're not super easy to get. The problem with the Grand Seikos is they are a couple $1,000s. So it's not for everybody. Not everyone's going to drop a couple bands on a watch. Right? But what got people interested in this whole watch thing is I made a video, Instagram reel, which was explaining how watches keep time. I was like, you probably asked yourself, you probably know how to keep time yourself.
Yeah.
But no one ever asked themselves how the watch keeps time. And so I explained how mechanical movements, which they don't have any battery, they don't have any electric parts, they have no circuitry, but they keep time mechanically, and how that works. And I put some illustrations up, and then people were like, damn, okay, I'm interested. Now I see why these things are expensive, right? They keep time worse than a quartz watch, but it's more the pursuit of perfection is what you're really buying into thousands of dollars.
The more like, when you talk about like these mechanical quartz, there's like so many bars I've heard Jay-Z speak about when he's talking about like watches. He's like, I got Rollies that don't tick-tock, Audemars are losing time.
Yeah.
And I never got like, is he talking about like the mechanics of the watch?
Yes.
See, that's
mechanical watches lose time over a period of time. So it's like all these mechanical watches, you have to reset them and rewind them because they lose seconds every, it just depends on the quality, right? Maybe it might be they lose a couple seconds a day. So I'm lose if you're not that good, couple seconds an hour, and you just have to keep rewinding them, resetting them. So the automats, they'll be losing time, and people will use the watch winders to keep them wound. That's on an automatic watch. If it's self-winding, that means it winds itself from kinetic energy, just from you moving.
I have one of those watches. I have an Orient. You know
Yes, yeah.
And those are what I find was like the middle ground between.
It's respected.
Yeah, kind of respected, and it's still relatively affordable. So you can have a watch that doesn't TikTok, literally. You know what I'm saying? That looks somewhat good.
But it probably loses mad time.
Hella time.
I
don't even use it for time at all.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is pointless.
Yeah. But it's
time.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it feels good wearing.
You don't have to spend a crazy amount to appreciate the mechanics. Like,
So now, we are an entrepreneurship podcast. So if you want to get a watch that was entry level but still appreciates in value, what would you suggest?
Okay, yeah, now that's difficult, right? Probably, man, that's tough. Okay, so watches have been performing very well. This is the kind of question I would ask my friend who deals in watches in Miami. People sleep on Omega. Okay, people sleep on Omega. For some reason, they just has this tainted brand to it, but they do what Rolex does. They just had worse brand management, So, depending on the Omegas will always be cheaper, but you'll be able to get the same thing, and it might hold its value pretty well. Now, if you want to get a Rolex, the problem is to get any Rolex now, you're not spending under like 14 grand Canadian, right? Canadian. You'll be hard pressed to get a Rolex for under $14,000, which is ridiculous. Because this time last year it was 10,000, and the year before it was probably 8,000, right? But you're guaranteed whatever price you buy it at, you're still gonna make money off of it. Grand Seiko is probably a good bet.
Yeah. For wearing a watch, I want to understand like the psychology of wearing a watch and the perceived value of wearing a watch as a man, let's say, in a business setting. What does that communicate to other people about you as a business person? There's like a certain art of wearing a watch that's appreciated, and it really communicates a lot. So walk us through that whole psychology and the perception of wearing a watch and what it communicates about you.
Well, what do you think when you see someone wearing just a watch in the first place?
Responsible.
Okay. They're watching their time.
They're watching their time.
Watch off, actually.
Class.
How about yourself?
This is a great question. It depends on the watch. If it's like a G-Shock, like an old G-Shock, I'm like, I kind of like, oh, you're mentally in 2005. 2009.
Yeah.
You
were in the Goodwood. Remember the Goodwood?
The
Goodwoods.
Yeah. Most definitely. So it depends on what the watch is. I think
it's like a car almost.
Exactly. So I think it communicates what you're into. So if you're wearing like a bedazzled Rolex, then I'm like, all right, he's a flashy guy. If it's like a plain Jane Rolex, then I'm like, all right, so he's probably looking at it as an investment. So there's multiple ways to look at it. So I feel like a watch is almost like a pair of sneakers where you kind of testifies to what the person's kind of into.
Yes. So for myself, I have my philosophy around watches is I wear watches with stories. I like the story behind the watch or the history behind the watch. And I also wear different shaped watches. I try to avoid, I have quite a few watches, but not most of them are not expensive. But they all have very cool stories behind how I got the watch, what it means, or how it looks. So like for this one, of course, like I had mentioned, it's, it's a square watch, first of all, square body, square case. So it's automatically different. It's noticeable. It's very small. I like small watches. I like subtle watches, but it's eye-catching. Like you'll notice it because it's silver with blue straps and a silver dial. So for me, it's like on the look, it says elegance, it says put together, but it also says I know something you don't.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. But then for me, in my head, I'm wearing it because I like that it's untraditional in its shape. Mm-hmm. I like that it doesn't get in the way of me because I wear it on my left hand, but I'm left-handed. So I have to be able to write and stuff with the watch on.
Left hand on the best man.
Exactly. But I also think, well, it's got a cool story and it's a conversation starter. So when someone says nice watch, I don't say thanks. When someone says nice watch, I tell them something about the watch. And then that's usually how I start very interesting conversations. But also it's a who knows kind of watch. Only those in the know. All these guys, they come up to me like, is that Santos? And I'm like, yeah. And then they do this. They've almost 9 out of 10 times got a Rolex on.
Say word.
9 out of 10. Might be an AP.
See,
but now they're looking at me like I'm one of them.
Simba, so this is the thing I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The ability to attract, like, you call them like high value people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They recognize real from afar. It's kind of like when
science.
Yeah. It's kind of like when women walk with a certain purse, other high class women know.
I know the women's purses and jewelry.
Yeah.
I know who's who.
Yeah.
And all these guys buying them that know too.
Yeah.
They know the Van Cleef necklace. They know the Cartier Love bracelet. They know the ring. They know the Bulgaria. Like you can, like, I'm telling you, I can look at a woman top down and tell you who's paying the bills. Income. What tax they paid last year? You know, like,
Yeah.
whether they're vegan or not. You know,
Like, I don't mind that. But
yeah, there's
man.
certain things, men, we need to get better at knowing these things, because the boss knows some of it. Because just by being around it all the time, the client, high ticket client knows, and the women all know. Mm-hmm. They all know, even if they don't wear it, they know.
It depends what girl though. You know, like there's levels. Like I feel like American women know, and Canadian women know. But like if you're dating someone that's from outside the country, they don't know as much.
They know, but they know their thing. There's nowhere in the world where they don't know Gucci or Louis Vuitton they don't know Gucci, Louis Vuitton, or Louboutins.
Yeah, but they're gonna know what watch that is in terms of.
No, they won't know the watch. But if I wear a Cartier Love bracelet, all the girls know, and all the guys won't know.
It depends on which girls you're around. Like if you're around girls from Barbados, they ain't gonna know what watch that is, and they could be.
No, they won't know my watch, right? But I'm not wearing the watch for women.
Facts. Well, that was what we were just saying. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're around, so it's like depends on what circle you're trying to enter.
Yes.
You're trying to enter like the luxury girl market, that girl that loves the material things.
Yeah.
Then that's what's gonna attract them.
But you can also tell. The thing is, when you can tell who's the materialistic one and who's not, because there's certain jewelry that only if you're already there you'll know, and if you're not, you won't know. So. They say like one of my very wealthy friends, like their friend group, they only wear what the sugar babies aren't wearing. So they don't wear any of the common luxury items because it's seen as too flashy or too common.
They'll wear Cucinelli.
Yeah. They say like, oh no, these are for sugar babies.
Yeah.
We won't wear the Gucci. We'll wear Chanel. We won't have the Louis Vuitton shoes. We'll wear something else. You know, even some will go as far as, if it's not a Birkin, I'm not putting it on.
Wow.
I'm not wearing it. And then some will even say, and then this is another level, they'll be like, no, everyone has the Kelly. Everyone has the Birkin. I'm wearing Delvaux. They'd be like, what's Delvaux? Well, Delvaux doesn't even have the logo on it. You just know from the silhouette, this is a superior brand. But
it's like when you see the checkered of Burberry, it's like know that's Burberry's print.
You know that's Burberry, but you don't want Burberry all over your thing. And some people won't be caught dead wearing Burberry because they'll be like, that's the commonest brand.
Those are for the poor,
the peasants, man.
Those are for the chavs. They say like in the UK, right? Chavs wear Burberry.
Wow.
Burberry, the chavs wear Burberry
because it's from the UK, so it's more common. They're like, if you go to where the brands are from, they usually are not taking it seriously.
Most definitely.
In Paris, they don't really be wearing,
Speaking about Birkin, bro, it's been getting a lot of being clowned Birkin bags on Twitter, especially with the Black Twitter community.
Yeah, the meta Birkins now.
The meta Birkins. What is it about Birkins that really made it become part of the conversation and culture over the past year?
It's a super, super well balanced strategy of limiting supply, price hiking, creating a barrier to entry, and also creating a very well-made product over time, very consistent. Mm-hmm. Someone who makes a Birkin has to train like for 5 years or so, or more before they'll even be able to touch the Birkin. Mm-hmm. So it's handmade. So, their quality has dropped a bit, but it's still, as far as hand craftsmanship in today's age and at the scale they're at, it's still very much handmade. Mm-hmm. And that's why they make it hard for you to get. And they also told rich people no. One of the few brands that told rich people no. So it doesn't matter how much money you have, you're not going to get a Birkin just because you feel like it.
Yeah, it's that and Lamborghinis, right? Those are the two main things.
Ferraris, Lamborghinis. Yeah, Ferrari's really good with that. Ferrari even tells you can't change the color of your car. They were trying to sue Deadmau5 for trying to change the color of his car. And I think they won. I think that's why I ended up with just going with McLarens.
Yeah, it was just insane. Yeah. Speaking of that in the luxury market, let's talk about Cucinelli. Because I think Cucinelli is one of those brands that nobody knows of.
Yeah, I don't know much about Cucinelli.
Cucinelli is one of the most expensive luxury brands in the world. And
what do they sell?
They sell menswear, mainly menswear and women's wear, and like a shirt goes
what
for
kind
like,
of menswear?
Like high end, almost borderline tailoring. You know, like I would say they're competitive to Tom Ford. But Tom Ford does a lot of bespoke, but like only like ready to wear menswear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here I'll show you.
Yeah, show me. I might know it, just not the brand name.
Just died. So yeah, Cucinelli. What's crazy about them is that they'll charge like $500 to $600 for a shirt, like a regular,
like a t-shirt, right?
No, like a dress shirt.
Oh, that's not unheard of.
$500 for a shirt.
That's why House of Bijan, same thing. House of Bijan, they've been suiting like presidents, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and all this. Yeah, they even have a trademarked yellow color, where they have their Bentley and their Rolls in the trademark color.
So it's called Brunello, Brunello, Cucinelli.
Yeah, I see the $500 t-shirt. Yeah,
$500 for a t-shirt.
Cotton jersey, round neck. Yeah,
insane. A blazer is $4,000. Sneakers $900.
Here, let's go on the website. I want to check this.
What's interesting about it is that they are not brand heavy where they have big logos or anything like that, but people still are able to tell if it's Cucinelli or not, which is
yes, I've heard of this brand. Yeah, I recognize the logo. I don't recognize the name.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
But this is the kind of thing when they say, oh, but Mark Zuckerberg, wait, look at the tech bros. They wear t-shirts and, they wear a clean t-shirt. They're wearing these t-shirts.
They're not wearing Fruit of the Loom t-shirts.
Yeah, those aren't Fruit of the Loom, bro. They're wearing that plain white tee is $300.
And the thing is, too, is that they have PR companies that tell them to wear these clothes because they know that if they were to wear their wealth, people would uproar. If Mark Zuckerberg was to wear the amount of wealth he has, people would see that and become offended because it's that much money.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So they get high quality, cheap looking clothing.
Exactly. Or have things like super yachts or other things that you won't see in public.
You won't see it.
And so it can, and it's interesting, like what's wrong with that? If they were to wear their wealth, what would be wrong with that?
Well, you know what? I don't think anyone thinks there's anything wrong with that. What they don't want to admit is them showing their wealth reminds you of what you don't have. And that constant reminder they don't want to see.
Yeah.
They don't want to see.
I don't understand why people get mad about that. Just work hard, man. Just put in the work. Why you mad at him? Because he got money and you don't.
It's tough. All I say is this, right? Feel free to criticize the capitalist system if you like. But don't hate on Bezos and then go buy Amazon exclusively. Clearly you love the product. Like, clearly, yeah. You're on Facebook, on Instagram posting how you hate billionaires. You're using the products. It's like,
and you don't even have shares in the company. Even if you're gonna get cheese, they're like, hey, buy shares in my company.
Shares. I'll make you money.
Exactly.
I'll make you money too. Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like Bezos, for instance, has one of the world's largest yachts. His yacht is so big, and in the super yacht world, this is commonly the case. His yacht is so big that it has a support yacht, which is the size of other people's actual yachts, main yachts, just carrying cargo following the yacht.
That's nuts.
And then they'll have another boat following that yacht.
That's stupid. Well,
fueling the yachts can cost up to $2 million just to fuel the thing.
That's crazy.
Disgusting.
Did you hear about what's happening with his yacht? And
No.
It's like a whole news story. So basically, here go right here. Jeff Bezos pushed Dutch port city to dismantle historic bridge.
We're gonna talk about this on Luxury News Weekly, actually. But yeah, I'm gonna really look into this because it's too big and you have to get past, right? Mm-hmm. So the yachts usually can't dock. Like his yacht is so big, it can't dock in most places. So he has to take it out to ocean and then take the smaller boat to shore. It's too big.
So what does he dock it?
He just floats there. Just floats
so
there.
So someone just stays there and just watches it.
Just watches it. He's got full security system, armed guards, because there's pirates on water,
the waters.
Ocean, yeah. So they've got armed guards. They've got like missile systems to like avoid rocket launches and that kind of thing. They've got anti-pirate systems. They got everything you need, but it's all hidden. But then on the yacht as well, they'll have like amenities, movie theaters, this and that and the other. Like
basketball court.
The yacht is bigger than homes. It's bigger than it's almost a cruise ship size. I think his yacht.
Wow.
But imagine a cruise ship just for you.
Most definitely.
They're humongous.
Humongous. So now let's talk about your business, man. Tell us about your business, what you've been working on over the last few years.
Yeah. So, well, let me mention, of course, we're going to air this on Luxury News Weekly as well. And that's kind of like the new venture I've been pushing. Started on Clubhouse last year, mid-year. Actually, yeah, we're almost approaching a year, of doing it. Mm-hmm. And so happy to be here on behalf of Luxury News Weekly because this is a cool conversation. Yeah, and, so the podcast has very much been part of reaching the luxury community. My company, Volo Bespoke, with my co-founder, Louis, we basically make luxury jewelry, like holder stands, etc. Basically luxury jewelry solutions, because we found like if you wear jewelry and you actually care about it, you usually have nowhere to put it, right? So our flagship product, which is a earring stand, is tailored to the busy woman, the woman that's in and out of the house. You know what I mean? And she needs somewhere to put her jewelry. It looks beautiful. It's high quality, solid brass, goose shoulder feathers. Got a artwork by a artist, a painter in Miami, up and coming. Her name's Barry Lynn Art. She hand painted all 10. It's, we're only making 10. And yeah, so we really wanted to make this focal point of the vanity of the bedroom. But we've got patents for, how you put the earring on. You don't have to lose your earring backs. That's a common problem. Like I lose my earring backs. I got an ear piercing. I lose that all the time. So you just put it on there, take it off. You're not worried. It looks beautiful, right? Check it out at Volo Bespoke. I'm sure you'll be amazed. But yeah, so that's been a work in progress because during COVID, all the suppliers shut down. We were originally working with the factory in Italy. Italy got hit first. Mm-hmm. The hardest. The hardest.
Absolute hardest.
Yeah, so we came to a standstill and I said to myself, well, are we going to not pursue this or are we going to do it ourselves? And so I learned how to make jewelry and a couple of these skills, and I forged the 10 units myself. But it took forever, of course. And we still got the patents and this and that because I was forging out a solid brass using 3D printing, laser cutting. hand tooling. You know, I had my Japanese saw. I was cutting the wood, sent it to Miami, got it painted, sent it back. The whole process. So this is by no means a joke, and it is very, very like you will just not find the quality. We are the world's best jewelry stand right now. I know because I made it. Maybe I'm biased because I made it, but I know because I made it. If that makes sense.
Bro, Sims, you gotta talk your talk, man.
I'm telling you. And for the low price of $1,000 US, it can be yours forever. Get 1 out of 10. There's only a couple left, so.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that being said, work was wrapping up. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram. That's probably the best way, at Simba Wakatama. And follow Luxury News weekly as well. We drop luxury posts on Instagram like almost every day. And then we've got the TikTok and the Reels going. So yeah, and of course Volo Bespoke. Follow me there as well. But of course my personals where I keep everything updated on all that. So yeah.
Most definitely. Owen, any housekeeping items you want to talk about while we're here?
No, not I can think about. Just continue shopping on hustleofereverything.co. We got the cozy pack still available, $100. Use the code Cozy Hustle at checkout. You get the full pack. What Alex and I are wearing right now, the sweatpants, the hoodie, for $100. It could be yours. Proper material. Good for your missus stealing your hoodie and stealing your sweatpants.
Yes.
It's a very unisex set, so I'm sure she'll look fly as well. So that's all from me.
I'm definitely gonna have to grab myself some hustle over everything.
Of course,
gear,
bro.
You know?
Of course.
Please do, man. Please do. We got you.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know, if you're not already, make sure you're following us on Instagram at 24/7 Hustle or 24/7 Hustler, pardon me, and at Twitter at 24/7 Hustlers. You have a lot of dope content coming out, and you have some cool branded content coming out. So make sure you tap in for that. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the podcast. The hustle is what you can control. So control your grind. I control your life. I'm Alex.
And I'm Owen.
And I'm Simba.
And that's the show, y'all. Peace.
Peace out.